Silent Giant Entertainment.
Wow, baby, welcome to it. You know how we do it up close and personal. Your homegirl Khool Aid holding it down. Yeah, if you don't know this face, I'm sorry for you, because we got my homeboy in the house. OG Rider, what you know about him? Logi.
Jepa, homeboys, and I'm finally in the spot. Pocos, pero Locos. We out here, man.
I love the hat.
Thank you. Gracias por esta.
Yeah, and shouts out to you, man. This is a long time coming. It's like, it's funny because, you know, like, we're homies. Like, we good. Like, we fam. You fam, man. And I was like, what am I going to ask Lo G? And it was funny because when I started Googling, like, bios, Lo G, or, you know, I was like, there was stuff I didn't even know about you. Like, stories we haven't shared that I think are so important for you to share. I was like, oh, the history on this dude and what he's been through and his struggle and his story. I mean, there was a Houston Press did a really dope article, and I was like, wow, they had a lot of info in there that I didn't even know about you. I was like, whoa. They were talking about your dad fighting in the war. Can we dig back to that history a little bit?
Yeah, it's real touchy subject about my pops, because you know, every time I talk about him, I get a little choked up, but I'm going to try to do my best. Okay. He was born in El Salvador, you know, during the Civil War. He was in the mountains doing his thing, you know, fighting. And my mom was in the village. We don't got no washers and dryers, so we washed clothes out the river. Clothes was getting a little red.
Was she pregnant with you at the time?
No,
or were you...
no, this is how they met. He was shot,
Got it.
And the blood would come down the stream when she was watching the white clothes, and it would get a little pinkish. So Grandpa, knowing what time it was, they looked for him and they found him all shot up in the stream. So we took care of him. And Grandpa felt like he violated by getting my mama pregnant. So yeah, it was the whole story. So Mom had to leave the town because the Civil War. Not only that, Grandpa. So my mom had me by myself.
So Grandpa was upset after they had hooked up because he felt like
yeah, my mom was supposed to marry.
Girl.
Yeah, supposed to marry somebody from the town, and this man came, and you know, so. Yeah, so they came, and how I got my name, because a lot of people don't know my name is Wilson. It was a preacher named Mr. Wilson, and that's the only place that they didn't bomb, the church. Shout out to Mr. Wilson. So I survived the whole thing, and I came to the United States, and how I was born is my grandma was the midwife for the whole town. She would deliver it by hand. I got delivered by hand. So, you know, I was born at the house. Cut up the umbilical cord. That's the reason my mama can't have no more kids, just because the way it was done. And so
you're her only child?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you must be spoiled as hell.
Well, you would thought that I would be, but around 8 girls, I had to earn my spot. So I was,
because there was a lot of sisters.
Yeah, no, aunts.
Right, your mom had a lot of sisters.
Yes, so only one uncle. So we had to that reference that you eat what you kill. It is for real where I come from. Because if you don't kill and you don't go hustle for that rabbit or that deer, you ain't gonna eat partner.
And where did you come from, like, originally?
I was born in Honduras and I migrated to Mexico. Shout out to Ciudad Victoria, Tamaulipas, because, you know, my stepdad, you know, that's why I got raised for a little bit with my Mexicanos, eating jalapenos.
So is that where the culture and the Mexican pride comes into play?
Yeah, I like, if I don't speak Honduras, my Honduran people, I do when I'm around my Honduran people, because, you know, I have to throw them words. Like, well, let me do it. I say, ¿Qué pasa vos? Ya tú sabes lo que está pasando. You know, I have to speak, but when I'm with my Mexicans, which is, you know, like, they raised me, ¿Qué onda, carnal? Ya tú sabes, chinga su madre ese vato. And, you know, and I know, you know, how to speak my Mexican, my Chicano. Órale, Holmes. Dale shine and sing, tú sabes.
Now, to learn your Chicano, that was a whole nother, to learn that game. That trips me out, too, because it's like you grew up in Texas, and your Chicano game is, like, way deep, too, and I love that. Now, we got to speak on that, though, because you came over here at 9. So that you were older, not speaking English, and then coming over here and having to learn. Like, number one, how'd you get over here, and how'd that all go down?
Well, like I said, I got smuggled in this, like a brick of coke in the back of, you know, my mama, man, she's my everything. And, you know, my dad was missing part of the time, so, you know, we migrated out here by ourselves, you know, her being a woman through this desert. It was, you know, she did things that I seen things that the women don't have to go through when they come. And if your mother came and brought you here, man, for real, because I seen it done, and we came through the.
Because you were old enough to understand what was
Yes,
going down in the
stuff.
streets.
Yeah, I seen stuff, and I had to fight ever since I got here. It's been a fight. I'm not
Where'd you guys land first when
in
you
New
came
York,
here?
in the Bronx. And
So
my
you've been touched by everything,
in
like
the
culturally.
in the Bronx, and she didn't like it, so we went to Texas, and we got slaved by somebody for a year because they had us kidnapped working. So we had to escape the thing to come to Houston, and once we landed in Houston, we had to. I started learning. My stepdad was like, "There's gangsters, there's lowriders." So I would hang around with the gangsters. I would hang around with the lowriders. So I needed a nickname, and I was like, "Man, a nickname? Who?" I guess was the L is for lowriders and the G is for gangsters. So I was the lowriding gangster with the suspenders, with the Nikes on, you know.
Nice. And you grew up in a tough neighborhood in H-Town. There was a while where you were homeless. That's something I was just learning about you.
Before the low G, Wilson, I went to school but didn't go to classes. ESL, they used to make a lot, bully on me, make fun of me for my accent. I wasn't enough Mexican, I wasn't enough Chicano, I wasn't enough Honduran, I wasn't enough of nothing. I couldn't hang around with the blacks, with the whites.
You didn't realize how much that would be a huge key when you got older, the fact that you had been cultured in so many different places. What was probably your biggest enemy as a youngster, because you were so open and you knew so much culturally, is now probably one of your best keys, and which makes you such a dope songwriter. So you and your mom, you were really close. How did you end up in the situation of being homeless?
Being the only one at home when my mama brought me, she had 2 jobs. She would be ironing, she would be sewing, she would be washing clothes. So I would look at the window and look at the cars. Remember, I come from the dirt. No cars, no airplanes, no bikes. I had goats, chickens, rabbits to chase, fish to catch. When I came here, it was too much of everything. New cars, sounds. I would look at the window and hear. And one day I just escaped the house, and I knew what time my mama come back, so I would come and I would smell like smoke. My mama washed my clothes, so where you been?
And she's working 2 jobs,
Yes,
so she just wasn't having it. She was gonna let you see what it was.
I want to play basketball. Who you with, son? Who is these people? What they talk English, Spanish? What they do? How they behave? How do they say excuse me? Do they say what did you eat? Who food you ate? What? Oh, I had to tell my mama everything because she was my best friend and we talked.
Right.
So, yeah, she found Mary Jane. Yeah, first, my girlfriend, and then she found my best friend, which is Mr. Nina Rose, and I was making her cry and I couldn't take it. So, boom, took off. She didn't kick me out.
Isn't that a trip? How as youngsters, it's like we think we've got it all like understood, figured out. And then like the people who we hurt the most when we're youngsters are the one that we're trying to come back in our adult life and take care of,
and make that approval and make them feel like hey, all that you taught me, everything that you said to me,
I get it now.
I didn't ignore it. It's that I had to explore. I had to,
well said.
Parents tell you that lighter's gonna burn you. Well, I had to find out how hot it was to see how the smell gets the smell, or how deep that river was. Because now I do it with my son, and like, son, it's deep. And now that is what?
Yeah.
And I remembers my mommy telling me all of this. Like,
and then you kind of get mad at yourself as a parent for letting him go. My little one, he was hanging on the monkey bars in the snow, and my mind told me, "Yo, it's snowing.
Mom,
monkey bars are wet. No, get off the monkey bars."
You're about to hit your head.
But he climbed back up there, and I said, "Okay, you're gonna learn." And boom.
One of my lyrics, for the people that I know, I play one of the personal songs of my life called "My Daddy's a Hustler," and I let y'all hear it. And it says, "I used to be the son, now I am the dad." So like, I grew up lonely, going back to sleep. I got kicked out, so I couldn't.
And just your dog keeping you warm, and that song is. I can't wait for the people to get that.
I couldn't go to any of my homies' house because, like, how you gonna bring this little homie to spend the night for more than 2 days? So I was a little kid. I couldn't just go to anybody's house. So they put me in we call it a Wawa. The station wagon was long enough for me to put my chips, my pillow, and my pants, and so. Carlos had gave me a dog before the whole thing situation, and he was like my best friend. And Chato, man, save me a spot because I got a lot of bones for you. I collected when I get to heaven. I'm gonna take them to you. So you know.
Well, now that you brought up and we talking about the SPM thing, I mean, because that's my boy, and that's how I discovered you and Baby Bishi, and
Lucky,
I mean, I of
Caroline.
course bash his earlier stuff, but his stuff once he got with SPM was ridiculous. That's how I discovered my girl Carolyn Rodriguez, who's in studio with us chilling right now. I mean, that camp is just, it was magical.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with your struggle and SPM's struggle, and you guys, you know, you came up together in that same struggle, and when you linked up, the timing was perfect. It was godly. Speak on that.
I think he was sent to. I think my mom and my grandma did a lot of praise, and I don't know about this. This concept of being a rapper, and we don't have that back home. So this got to be the biggest blessing of my life.
When did that concept pop up? Was that through Carlos?
Yes, through Carlos, because we used to be friends in the streets, and I knew he was rapping. But like I say, the worthy comes into. I don't feel like there's all the old rappers. Why you choose me? And he never told me. He's like, just come along, and we started writing. He started writing for me, and
you weren't rapping at that time.
No, rap. I was watching his back, selling $5 tape. Give me what did he say? Give me $5 funky dollars, you can bunk my tape. So we were out there slinging CDs hand by hand. In those days, back in 95, 94, that was unheard of. A Mexican slinging CDs.
Oh yeah, you guys were going hard.
Black people buying. In the territory, South Park, Mexico, buying our CDs was like, whoa, y'all doing something.
Wow. So then he brought you in. You wrote your first. What was the first song you did with him?
We did a merry-go-round.
What's the first one?
Yeah, and I wrote that by myself. Now, Block of Rock was more. It was more guys. When people would come in the room, I would feel uncomfortable because like they're gonna start laughing about my, you know. So
you'd worry about your accent and your Spanish, but then he was like, "Yo, come here. That's what makes you hard."
Yes, that's right there. They can do it like you. Do it. So that yepa yepa. Let me tell you this story because a lot of people don't know where the yepa yepa come from. Back at my mama's house, I used to watch a lot of cartoons like Felix the Cat. I wonder why he never talked. So I was like, is he talk Spanish or English? Why he don't want to talk? So I used to watch him. I used to watch all the cartoons. But Speedy Gonzalez make a big impact to this day. Because when he would run around and he would speak Spanish, like he was talking to me, andale, andale. You know, so I would hear this word. So I thought that yepa, yepa was English. Because he say, andale, andale, arriba, arriba, yepa, yepa. And I was like, yepa, yepa is English. What is that? I might be like, I'm going fast or something. So I was like, yepa, yepa, homeboys. I would say that to Carlos. He say, do that. Say that. And in the mic, I'm like, nah, say that. And that's how some beats started.
And then it carried and followed you for life.
This is what they know me for.
Okay, so how'd you link up with Screwed? Because you were also very close to DJ Screwed.
Through Carlos, we wanted to get the approval, and we felt that it was him. So you know, he was real humble guy, and we hanged around a whole lot. We did a lot of sipping, pulling up that, you know, that drink.
You even stayed with him for a minute, right?
Yeah, we stayed at the house a few times, helping him out, you know, moving product, you know, for him. And shout out to the whole comp.
So you and Carlos both?
Yes, we would do a lot of things for Screw. And it was easily to go ask him and be like, hey, do our album. And he's like, you know, I don't put my face in a lot of things. And he put his face on the Screw. And we were blessed.
Well, when you think of Screw, you think of the Dope House.
Oh, yes.
Especially being Latino.
Yes, we were the ones that we will always go to shows like, shout out to Trey, Zero, you know, the whole SUC, man. You know, we did a movie back at the beginning. It's called The Dirty Third.
What's the ultimate goal now for Logi and all the transition of everything you've been through?
Life, my goal is to go back to where I was born, and I rebuilt the school, maybe the church. Yeah, that's what if I get allowed to do it, yeah, that's what I'm not too much into.
Have you been back there?
No. My mom is afraid it's still kind of crazy over there still, and I don't think I'm quite ready. But when I go, I want to go as I want to bring something back. Because they built this guy, so and everywhere I've been, I want to go back and bring something back. I'm not taking nothing with me. I know I'm leaving something for my family behind, but I just want to help, just because I know the necessity. I come from nothing, and I just want to give back. And a lot of people, other artists, I know they say that, but it's different when words gets into action, and I just
and it's different when you've been through what you've been through, because I mean, you've been through the real streets in every which way in every street. You've been through the streets and the dirt. Like you've been through it hard. I know this is kind of a crazy question, but I can't front. This is something I think about all the time. I always think about, if Carlos wasn't locked up, where would it be?
Yeah.
Do you think about that?
I think that God works in mysterious ways. I think that sometimes there's something. Carlos has a battle on his hands till this day, and I think he's going to a greater place than just being a rapper. I think he got a story to tell because that's where they send us. He went to where they've been doing this forever to us, and I think he got a greater testimony and story to share with the world. If Carlos would have been there, I think that the fame, it's a price to fame for the youngsters. It's not about just music and rap. The fame has a price. It could be your sanity, your freedom, your family, and you gotta understand that it's a price to pay. It's not just be careful what you wish for. Same thing that makes you smile, it's gonna make you cry. So it's understood that if he would have been out here, might have been death, might have been drugs. Look at successful people. They died like Michael Jackson into drugs, or somebody went and shot him like Pac. So I feel like I appreciate the fact that where he's at, he's safe. But at the same time, his family got to be missing him like we miss him. So,
and one day, I'm hoping like the truth behind the whole story will come out.
It will,
and I know it will come out. So any naysayers who say, "Why do you support?" or "Why do you do this?" I support and I believe Dope House, SPM, all of you guys, my man Logi. Oh,
hey,
love you.
One thing is real, it's everlasting. You don't got the front about it. It's real. It's just automatically, and y'all been forever. It's like a blessing to say y'all my friends. It's not about the show, because I don't look at it like that. It's like a blessing to have y'all and empower the whole everybody. Without these people, I would not be out here. It's just, this is the church. This is the holy place. This is where we come. Well,
we're gonna keep building together. It's the family. Pocos pero looked out, up close and personal. Thought you knew. Logi, one of my faves.